talking about. So it's a little something dedicated to our UI people. But we notice that most times we talk about engineering, coding, maybe front end, back end, QA. We decided to give this time specifically to the guys on our platform who are into or would like to go into UI UX design. So from probably the next 1 minute, you'd stop hearing my voice and you start hearing that of Pelumi. Pelumi, don't worry, I won't even bother to pronounce your surname. You did that for us. Thank you very much. So we'll begin starting your career as a UI UX designer. Pelumi, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hi, Farah. Thank you for the introduction. Happy to be here talking to you guys. I'm Pelumi Alesh. My full name is Alesh Iloyen. In Yoruba just means we have us in Amatan. I, Pelumi Alesh. I'm a product designer and a software engineer. I'm not a software engineer by salary. I started my tech career as a software engineer. Now I'm a fully product person. I see code on the side for side project and just passion project. This is a picture of me from like 4 years ago. I did not look like this anymore. But this is the only picture I have online. So yeah. I want to give a brief introduction about how I got started in tech. I'm not sure if anyone here has used Paint on Windows, but basically I had access to a laptop while I was in secondary school, and yeah, I played around Paint a lot, making cartoons, animations, just drawing stuff and trying to like be creative with them. That was really like an interesting moment in my life because I noticed I could do stuff with computers, which was very nice. When I was in my last year of secondary school, SS3, I figured I was not interested in going to university. So yeah, I did not have a university degree. Immediately after high school, I started trying to apply to boot camps to learn how to code properly. Then I was still very interested in software engineering. I was trying to learn how to code properly, just finding a structure to learning. I knew they were free online courses, but I couldn't get around it, right? I ended up applying to a boot camp in Ikeja called HIT. I'm not sure if anyone knows that. But yeah, I learned soft web development in HIT. It was a very slow course. I ended up finishing the whole syllabus in just the first week. And it was meant to take 3 months. So I had to leave the boot camp. I paid already, but yeah, I had to leave. I applied to Andela. Andela is basically like a consulting agency. They link tech talents in Africa to foreign companies. I applied to Andela as a software engineer. I worked with a very small team to build a fake banking application that wasn't. It was like just a project for you guys to work on inside Andela. I noticed during this development, no one had like an idea of design or whatsoever. Whenever we get a task from the project lead, we'll just jump straight into development. Backend start developing, front end start developing. After like a week of developing, when we were to present by the end of the week, we noticed we probably misinterpreted the requirements we got from the product manager. This caused a lot of back and forth, and we're like very slow with our deliverables. So I was just like, I have an idea of design. Let me pick up design. I knew what product design was. I didn't know like the value of product design. But then I picked up Figma and started designing screens from on Figma. Whenever we get the requirement, I design them first, show the product manager is this the right interpretation. If it says yes, we go ahead with development, right? Um, Unfortunately, I didn't get to do this for long. After 3 months, I was laid off at Andelan. But within that 3 months, I was able to see the advantage of design, basically. And by then, design wasn't exactly a big thing in Nigerian startup industry. Most companies do not like still place a lot of value on design. Back then, it was way worse. You had to pitch or explain why or a company should be designing in the first place. I knew there was a gap in design in Nigeria and Africa in general, so I was like, I should learn this. There's value for design for both the engineering team, the products, the business, and the users they are building the products on. So yeah, I picked up design. Now I'm a full designer. I'll talk a bit about what product design is. I love this comparison. Actually, almost everyone here has like an idea of what product design is. So I'll just be very fast with this stage. I like to compare product design to an architect that draws like the structure of a house before the bricklayers build them. Right, the architect, when drawing this structure, needs to understand a lot of things. If I design this plaque this way, will the house collapse? Will it be easier for the residents to open the door this way? What is the best place to put the AC? What is the best place to put the fireplace so the temperature reaches everywhere? All these kind of questions are what product designers should be concerned about, not just designing a very fine house, which is like what most people think product designer do, right? Just design a fine house. There's more to design than just the visuals. That's just a part of product design. Um, so yeah, product design is like baking a cake. You have to mix together a whole bunch of ingredients. The ingredients are like user experience, functionalities, aesthetic, technical feasibility, until you get a very delicious, perfectly balanced product. Um, but unlike baking a cake, there's no there's no recipe to follow. There's no manual. You have to be very creative and you have to keep like batching things along the way. You have to prepare for many batches. So you have to keep baking the cake until you get a good one you can ship to the user. Um, does a product designer do? This depends on the company. If it's a big company, you're probably working on just an aspect of product design. If it is a small company like a startup, you'll probably be touching a lot of aspect of design. This leads me to explaining different roles in product design. Some people refer to themselves as UI designer, some visual designer, interaction designer, product designer, UX, mobile designer. There's like a whole lot of roles out there. Um, the reason there are many roles for designer is just because a UX designer, user experience designer, focuses on the experience. How easy is it for the users to solve their problem? How easy is it for the user to like achieve whatever they want to achieve on the product? The strategies is like even more nuanced depending on the company. The strategies might only just focus on the research or like focus on how you achieve a particular goal. There are visual designers, which is even like another aspect of UI design. Visual designer focus mostly on things like colors, graphics, and all of those. There's interaction designer, they focus only on interaction, the animations and all, the little, when you hover on a button, the color that changes to let you know you're hovering on the button, the icons that are dancing, those kind of interesting stuff, right? A product designer, this is more of a bigger role. It covers UI, UX, interaction, visual. If a product designer be like gets ready to do a lot of things because you need to be experiencing most of these. Mobile designer is someone that does only mobile, obviously. Web designer just focuses on websites, either web application or just website. It is good to know what these roles mean, but still, whenever you get a job, you should ask for the job description, know what you are meant to do and what you should not be doing. How to get started with product design. First thing, learn the basics. I mean, this cannot be exaggerated enough. To be a master at anything literally, once you learn and understand, understanding is like key. You need to learn and understand the basics. Once you understand the basics, you can easily move from UI to UX or to visual. Or even after even understanding the basics, you'll be able to decide if there's a particular aspect of product design you want to focus on, or if there's like a particular aspect you understand better or you enjoy better. So yeah, learn the basics. Um, okay, I have this quote I got somewhere online. I don't know where I got it from, but yeah, in product design, it is not about the tools you know; it is the process you employ to help a potential user achieve a goal. I like to call myself a UX designer, even though I am a product designer by what I'm getting paid for at work. But I think UX should be prioritized a lot in design. Mostly, what you are designing for is just to make sure the users you are designing can achieve a particular goal. you are trying to design Uber, for instance, and the app is very fine, but as a user, I can't even order a ride. Or maybe I can order a ride, but getting a refund is like a nightmare. I can't get a refund through the app design. I don't think that is a functional app, right? Regardless of if you know how to use Figma properly or even how to animate, make sure when you click a ride, you can see the cars moving and dancing. All of those don't really matter if the users can't use the app. So yeah, product design is not just the tools you know or how fancy the app is. You should be able to make sure the users can achieve a particular goal. The basics of product design, I try to group this into three. The first is user experience. User experience, like I've explained over and over, is creating products that are easy and enjoyable to use. So for user experience, you need to focus on things like the user goals, the user pain points, their behaviors. Um, Let me start with the pain points. Pain points is basically what the user needs to do when using your app, right? If you're opening a particular app, there's a particular pain points you're trying to solve for. If you open Facebook, there are probably two pain points, many actually, but let me focus on two you're trying to solve for. You want to communicate with someone, you want to message someone, that's the pain point. You want to get entertained, scrolling through your feed to see what people are posting. So those are like the two main major pain points the designers will put in mind when designing screens. They need to make sure it is easy for you to message people, it's easy for you to communicate, and it's also easy for you to find content you're interested in, right? So yeah, user goals is very very similar to pain points. It is basically what the user needs to do, not something the user is suffering from, just what they need to do. And also there's the behaviors. What kind of behavior does this user exhibit? Are they people that are very very impatient? For instance, the newer generations are they have low attention span. So that is why TikTok trends amongst them, right? You need to understand who the users are, what kind of behaviors they are, so you can design around all of these behaviors. You can create a better experience for them, basically. The newer generations will not use things like, what's it called? They will use them, but they probably won't enjoy things like TikTok, where I said TikTok, LinkedIn, where people just post very, very long content, very long, professional, boring content, right? Um, they will enjoy things like TikTok. It is very short, 30 seconds video, it is entertaining, and all of those. You need to put these three things in mind when designing so you can design a very good product. Going to the next one, user interface. As a UI designer, these very basic stuff are very important. Learning typography, learning how colors work, what different colors communicate, the right place to use a particular color. This might seem like it isn't important, but trust me, they are very, very important. The layout of your design, where you should place the arrow, where you should place the button, so it will be easier for the users to find how big the button should be. And iconography, icons, epilodes, basically. There are some times where you can't use text because text will seem like it is too long. You can just replace them with icons. You should be able to find the right icons to communicate the right thing. So for user interface, these are like the four basic things you should learn. If you learn this one, you can act design basically. You've act design, you can learn this one. The last thing is design thinking. Design thinking is basically the way you approach problems. So when you get assigned a task or a particular problem you need to solve, you need to have a process. Your process should not be defined. Your process should always change, but at least there should be like a process which approach that problem. How you start from understanding the problem to validating assumptions you have. Validating is you going out to make research, meet people that will use the product, like potential users, or like meet existing users, ask them questions, and make sure you're building or designing the right thing. Explore, then you go to exploring different solutions. Uh, can you add the button to the top? What impact will it have? Can you add the button to the bottom? What impact will it have on the product you're building? Then you test. Testing is very important. You need to test over and over again what you are designing. You test, then you iterate. Iterating is you going back to the drawing board. After testing, you probably get feedback from the users, right? Maybe they do not like the color of the button. It makes their eye bleed or something. So you need to reduce or tone down the brightness of the button. That is iteration. You iterate, you go back to the beginning, test again, then keep iterating on it to have a good product. Or until, until your product manager tells you time is up, the business wants you to deliver tomorrow, then you launch the product. Uh, the next one, collaborating. Collaborating is a very, very big part of anyone getting into tech. Besides product design, it's a very, very like important part of getting into tech. Staying motivated, being ahead of the curve, learning new things, learning new skills. You need to collaborate with others. What are ways to collaborate? Finding a mentor, participating in hackathons, sharing your work online. Sharing your work online does a lot more than just like motivating you and putting ahead of the curve. It also like makes you very visible to potential collaborators, potential employers, potential clients. So yeah, share your work online, and also like keeps you accountable. Things like 100 days of design, where you keep posting designs you make each day. It doesn't have to be like a whole website, just a screen or something. Post them online, find it useful, and be active in them. Trust me, I've gotten a lot of contract jobs from just like niche design Slack channels. Um, and also, it keeps you motivated. Basically, motivation is very important in tech. Before you face one challenge, I just decide to give up. Attend design conference as much as possible. If you attend design conference, you get to network and meet people, even learn what the new tools are or like what the new stuff is basically. Join communities. Everyone here has joined a community because you are on this talk tree community, right? Communities are nice as well. Communities are good. Um, yep. The last part, practice, practice, practice. Uh, I think after everything, practicing is like the major thing. You can read all the book you can find online, or design tech book, watch every video you can find online. If you do not practice, there are basically ways. It's like experience is the best teacher, right? You need to practice these stuff to improve on yourself. Um, I need this quote actually. I didn't find this online. Practice makes perfect. But if you're already perfect, then practice makes you a better lion because no one is actually perfect. You need to keep practicing. You need to keep improving. There are different ways to practice. You can practice by watching a tutorial. Just like try to recreate what you see in a tutorial. Don't just watch tutorials and listen to what they're saying. Try to recreate what you see in tutorials. Recreate other people's existing websites. Find Twitter. Just try to recreate Twitter on Figma, or find a design on Dribble or Behance. Try to recreate these stuff. When you practice, there's something I've noticed. You get like see why, or like understand how things are being done. You also get like question why this designer made this particular decision. So you're trying to recreate Twitter. You can see why is the what's happening input, why was it placed at the top. You start questioning little things like this and you start finding answers. Either you Google the answer or just think through the answer. Okay, it is so the user can see this. The first, once they load the page, like the first thing they see is make a post. Because Twitter actually wants you to make a post to make Twitter more lively, right? It wants to make Twitter more engaging. So they require you to make a post. Basically, these are very, very important stuff to improve. You have to keep practicing, you have to keep designing, which is also why I love 100 days of design, because like there's something you're doing. You don't have to always recreate design. You can always like create a passion project from scratch. Find a problem you think is good. Go out and try to follow a proper process. Do the research, meet people, interview people, then try to solve the problem. All these kind of projects you can even upload them on your portfolio. Upload it on your portfolio. It increases your chances of getting a job basically. So yeah, please always practice and build a portfolio. Portfolio is important. Thank you guys. I don't know if anyone has any question or comments.
Thank you very much, Kumi, for the very insightful dive into UI UX from the standpoint of a product designer. Thank you very much.